I have never built this many drone hubs this early in any Surviving Mars playthrough that I've done on or off the channel, but it's all in the name of getting our very first dome up and running for our founders, which are yet to be summoned, but they're on the way. Also, the game's being way too nice to me, so something terrible is probably going to happen this episode. Hello, Legion. This is Adrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Surviving Mars Green Planet in our brand new Red Winter series. So, I had an idea in between recordings. I was mentioning that I would have to bring at least 2 more drone hubs down, or at least 1 more drone hub. And I think I might be able to limit it just to 1 if I'm a little bit clever with my RC commander. So I know that I've built this universal depot here. There's that selection bug again. But let's take a look at... Okay, if I hold the button down for a second, it seems to be a little bit better. All right, so that's the far edge of this drone hub. Let's look very specifically at that. All right, Universal Depot can go here, but I need to literally mark this with my finger. Right, there we go. It's amazing how often I do this in Surviving Mars. Beautiful. Okay, so that's one thing I can do. And then what we're going to do is move the RC commander over this direction. And that will allow the drones from this RC commander to reach the edge of where we set up the other drone hub we're about to summon. And I am going to summon one. Now, could I put a drone hub in a supply pod? Because, ooh, yeah, I could. But I could also just send a rocket, and I'd frankly need to send a rocket given the fact that, I mean, we're playing as Space Y. That's part of the reason we don't need to worry about those supply pods as much. But we just have free ones at the moment, which is a nice thing to have. So, tell you what, let's do it this way. We're going to bring down... Part of me still wants to bring down a second one, but let's just bring down the one and see if we can make that happen. Because we can always fire off a second one if we need to. Hang on, let me check something really quickly. Okay. So it's not allowing me to put down a kind of test footprint. So I have to kind of eyeball this. Yeah, I think we can do it with 1 drone hub because there to there and there to... Yeah, we'll be able to do this with 1 drone hub. It's going to work. So, cargo rocket. We're going to have colonists landing on Mars, most likely this episode. So, drone hub, and then I've already got a small machine parts factory. So at this point, I don't know that I even need to put anything else on the rocket. Maybe some food, just to have some additional food on the surface. Some extra machine parts, perhaps, because we did get that free money. Free money's always good. Now, the colonists will bring down food with them, so there's not really a lot of need for additional food. I will go ahead and order more electronics just to be safe. Yeah, let's go with... Hang on. Yeah, see, this is all of my funding. I could go ahead and order 4 more drones just to put our count up to around 62, and I still have some prefabs to pump out. I think because I got this free drones, I'm not going to worry about that. I'll save the 120 million in funding for some other thing that I might be able to use it for. God knows what. Okay. India has nearly completed a milestone, and Brazil has nearly completed a milestone as well. So the reason that we're doing this, if you missed the last episode, one of the things about Surviving Mars that's kind of problematic, and as a matter of fact, I no longer need this resource depot, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And I hope this gets fixed in future updates, but when you don't have shuttles yet to actually fly things around, we've just built this tunnel, right? The issue, and I'm going to make this explanation short because I explained it more long form in the last episode, and I don't want to repeat myself, but just in case you missed that one, what is happening is we've got this tunnel going over here, but these drones are just physically incapable of just hopping right through the tunnel and grabbing stuff from this Universal Depot to bring to this Universal Depot. And we know that's the case because we've set the desired amount to 3 and they're not bringing additional resources here. So we are going to have a dome in this location, but we can't really... It's not smart to have a dome set up until we have our drone hubs in place. So that's the plan. By the way, did I not give you an order? I thought I gave you an order. Okay, let's go ahead and go up to speed 3.
Sector scanned. Anomaly found.
Nice. 2 new anomalies, including a new technology anomaly. So let's go ahead and get that one first. Not finding any water yet. That's a little bit disconcerting. I've only got the 1 water so far. All right, so what's happened is I broke down that depot, and they're bringing back all the resources that they ferried over there before, because there's no point in having it there. All right, so how am I doing water-wise? I could probably afford to get a second water tower up and running. I would have to extend the range on this subsurface heater, though, and I don't know that I want to do that. To have the additional water this early would be great, though, let me tell you. I wish I could put it here. I really do. There's not a way to make that work. Okay, so let's put you down there just so that the water tower is there. Because we're producing enough water right now to where I want to have the extra ready to go. These large dumping sites are doing pretty well so far, not anywhere near full just yet. Okay, so that is just about perfect. Let's move you... Okay.
Anomaly analyzed.
New techs available for research. What do we get? Wow, the atomic accumulator, decommission protocol. You're interrupting me. Okay, so we now have the ability to build the drone hub, or research the ability to build the drone hub, the decommission protocol, Martian education, soil adaptation, and Dozer rover. Soil adaptation is a good tech. God, we are so far down the physics tree, just given the freebies we've gotten so far. So I do want to get this analyzed soon. We've unlocked the Dozer rover. I also want to go ahead and I want to experiment with if we can actually start using this building. I didn't mention this last episode, but again, we need to get the temperature above 50% in order for cold snaps to stop. We haven't had our first cold snap yet, but trust me, once they start, we're going to want them to stop. So as I was saying, I think in the first episode, though, or maybe in the second, I'm not sure if I need an atmosphere to heat up first. I feel like I do. So I don't think the temperature can be raised until there's something of an atmosphere. I might be wrong, but hang on. Let's see if it actually says in the tooltips. Increased temperature is required for liquid water to be present on the surface of Mars and in lakes. Because you're curious, I'm going to mouse over these really quickly if you want to read the rest of the tooltips. There you go. You can go back and pause if you want to see either of those. But, of course, we'll be getting to all those mechanics once it's time. But we are not thinking about terraforming just yet. We're just not there yet. But let's see. We do have this RC transport with nothing to do. Do you have no more? Really? Okay, so oh, wait. No, there's some. I knew there was some laying around somewhere. I'll still just do a transport route. It's unnecessary, but it's a good way to just kind of give the order. Okay, we need a second metal depot here. Because the first one is full up. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and get a second concrete depot going. Because there will be a point where we'll need that as well. There are some really cool automated depots you get later in the game that handle a lot larger stacks of resources. So I'm excited to have those ready. All right, so this RC commander is going to be ready as soon as this rocket lands. It's bringing down some additional supplies and the drone hub. We can start thinking more seriously about getting a dome set up over here so that these rare metals can be harvested. Matter of fact, that's one thing I can do. I'm not going to do it just yet, but one thing I can do is get the harvest building set up for that. The extractor set up for that. Okay. What is that? Oh, it's a light. I was like, what is that post? I thought the drone was holding something. That's a rocket. All right, so you can see the drone's going crazy. Excited to take stuff off this particular rocket. Let's go to our main delivery, though. Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to see. So there's definitely some overlap. All right, it's saying it's too far from a working drone commander, but that's a dirty, dirty lie. We are going to have this as perfectly in between the two. Oh, man, there's almost overlap. Look at how close that is. That makes me angry. All right, so I want this one to definitely be able to work this concrete deposit as needed. So what we'll do is put it right about there. And I know it's quote unquote too far from a working drone commander, but we're about to fix that. Let's send this RC commander over there. And that prefab being present will allow them to very quickly build that new drone hub, and then we'll send the RC commander right back to where it was. And then we'll have a supply chain set up that can carry stuff using our drones. Boom. There it is. Okay, so with that done. All right, perfect. We can see it's going exactly where it needs to go. So if I hold the button down, at least, that allows me to see what I want to see, but then often releasing it will trigger that selection bug. Not quite sure what to make of that. It is what it is, though. All right, so what are you doing? You've researched that. Why don't you go ahead and research that anomaly, please? Looks like we have a meteor coming down over there. Okay, so with that being done, that's a pretty big change. We now can set up... We have that Universal Depot there. Let's let you get into position. All right, so what we need is a Universal Depot roughly there. Hang on. We can do a little better than that. Eventually, we'll have another drone hub, and we'll probably need to... We can probably just consolidate these down into one. But let's bring the desired amount for these resources up to... See, I don't need all of these to be transferred over here. Not yet, anyway. What's the dome going to require? Let's take a look at that. It's going to require concrete, metal, and polymer. I knew that. And then most of the buildings inside are going to require concrete. A few will require, like if we build a school, a few will require electronics. That's one thing. I think I'm going to, this is me thinking on the fly. I might skip building the school early on this time. I almost always build a school really early in my playthroughs. And now that I'm looking at that maintenance, it's like, man, is that part of my problem with establishing an electronics supply chain? Because that's a lot of maintenance. It's twice the maintenance of a research lab. And it's just to cultivate desired perks in kids so that Martian-born are optimally trained. And yes, of course you want that, but there's a time and a place, right? So I think I might avoid putting a school in place. So with that in mind, hang on, let's take another look. So these require just metal and concrete. Yeah, metal and concrete and polymer. We're not going to do a casino complex. Yeah, metal, concrete, and polymer. That's all I needed to see. So we are not going to worry about, electronics or machine parts for now. Eventually, we do want machine parts that are produced in this dome to make it over here. But for now, I don't want anything to get moved between these supply hubs, except for electronics and machine parts. Or except for the things that are still checked. So electronics and machine parts, I'm going to undo. Also, fuel is not necessary. So let's go ahead and say that we don't want fuel on these. All right, so what's happening at the moment? We now need to build a Universal Depot out here. And the supply chain will start moving of its own accord. Okay. Seriously, I always build a school immediately, and for the first time, on YouTube or off, I'm looking at that going, why have I done that? That doesn't make any sense at all. All right, let's turn those off. Okay, and with that being done, you're going to notice all the drones immediately spring to life. And once resources are on that particular spot, they'll start bringing them here. This is going to be kind of cool to watch. See? They're going to start moving between the two different spots and get ready, especially once we give the order to build a dome, which we're going to give right now. So I will do the orange. I really like, of the visual variants, you can make domes look like that, which is more of the classic Martian colony look. You can make domes look like this. We can make domes look like that. We're going to go with the just kind of clear dome because it's the most futuristic and it's awesome. All right, saying there's no cable connection. I kind of want to have you, let's see. All right, there's that. Now again, one thing that's happened here is we have the ability. Oh, wow. That worked out perfectly. We have the ability to extend our power grid using the tunnel. That's one very positive thing that's occurred here. Actually, I'm going to be a perfectionist now. Hang on. There we go. A little bit more visually appealing that way, at least to me. It's the way my brain works. I can't help it. Aesthetics are nice. Okay, now the only challenge here is, yeah, this is going to have to go around, which is fine. All right, so with that being done, they'll have to bring a lot of metal in to make that happen, but it'll happen. And I do want to go ahead and say, let's say 5. You know what? Let's go all in. Let's say I need 10 in that depot. That'll encourage the drones to bring resources as needed. Okay, Dragon number 1's ready to launch, which means, let's go back to the planetary view. Oh, they still haven't fixed that. P still brings up the resupply view, but the hotkey is also P for the planetary view. I thought they fixed that in the Cernan update, but I guess not. Okay, so this is just going to require 7 drones. So we have a couple of projects that we can do. But let's go with this one first, Project Niagara. This requires our RC Explorer. It's going to take 12 hours. Let's send the expedition. Dragon number 1 is ready. Go. It automatically teleports, kind of weirdly, it automatically teleports our RC Explorer. Or no, it doesn't actually. Maybe because you're taking care of that. There we go. There's that auto teleport. All right, so now we're almost done with the Space Telescope data, and I hope we get something really cool for that. Especially funding. Funding would be preferred. All right, so that rocket has launched. I'm a little bit surprised we haven't had a cold snap happen yet. It's surprising stuff. All right, the supply chain is not working too beautifully yet. Hang on. Yeah, it should be in range. It's just taking a while for everything to get in place. One thing that I can do is I can say, yeah, that's what it is. I need to not let there be a desired amount.
Breakthrough discovered.
Matter of fact, I can go ahead and turn these back on. That way, basically, I'm just allowing these to be used. Okay, advanced drone drive has been discovered. Very nice. Drones move 40% faster when I research that. So that's the research project that was just completed. Project Niagara. Yeah, I forgot about that little trick. It's been a while since I've had to set up a supply chain like this. But when you set desired amount to 0, it turns each depot into just kind of a lily pad, if you will, for resources to hop to the spots where you actually have a desired amount set. So I think I will go ahead and turn those back on with that in mind. Because we will need resources there. I just don't want those resources to pile up here. That's part of the reason that I was turning those off. Yeah, this is a lily pad as well, so we can turn that off. And actually, what resources are required out here? The maintenance for this is just metal. The maintenance for this is machine parts. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say no polymers for you, no electronics. We're going to micro the crap out of this. No fuel. Machine parts, yes. No concrete. No food. No rare metals. But at least they'll keep a stockpile of the things that they do need. We're starting to build up additional excess fuel, so I think one thing I'll do is turn off one fuel refinery. We don't need them running at all times. And your maintenance is what? Machine parts? Yeah, so we need machine parts on. Electronics we don't need. Polymers we don't need. Rare metals, food, concrete. Yeah, we can turn all that off. Okay, that one I'll leave on. Desired amount set to 3. See, even that one I kind of want to set just as a lily pad, just so that resources will be dropped off when they have nowhere else to go, but then otherwise they'll get shipped around as needed. So you can see these drones are definitely going to town, and we still have 5 prefabs, so one thing I can do...
Sector scanned. Anomaly found.
There are now 12 drones working here instead of 8. We found an additional anomaly. Our RC Explorer is almost back down with us. Paradox Interactive has nearly completed a milestone. Good for you, Paradox. That's hilarious. Yeah, if you've forgotten, one of our colonists is, or one of our rival colonies is Paradox. Now, what's going on here? What object is blocking?
Research complete.
Oh, that's weird. Oh. The RC transport. Move, buddy. Okay. Analyze space telescope data. Research cooperation. Ooh, we get a choice. Lambda Industries is immensely satisfied with our helping hand in the data analysis and wish to repay us with a reward of our choosing. We could use a helpful hand with our own research project, so we get 100 additional sponsor research per soul. How about a discount on outsourcing projects? 20% research outsource costs? Money will do fine. I feel like funding is probably the best thing to do, but additional sponsor research this early could also be good. Money's probably the best thing. Let's just do money, just so that we have the ability to bring more stuff in. Okay, magnetic filtering is now being researched. I kind of want soil adaptation first, though, even before magnetic filtering. And then we're going to go down this list pretty much in order. Part of me wants to outsource a little bit. Should we? Yeah, there we go. So a little bit more per day. So what we're starting to see is drones are going to bring in the metals and concrete and polymers required. All right, so looks like Brazil has built their first dome.
Cold wave approaching.
There we go. About bloody time. Let's see, we need to turn the surface area up just a little bit there. It doesn't need maintenance just yet, but as soon as that cold wave switches on, what's going to happen is our power consumption for buildings that are cold will increase. So we just want to have as much power stored up. With that in mind, actually, let's go ahead. Let's build another. Why not build a few more accumulators around this guy? Why not, right? Are you in range? Yes, you're in range. So if those are down, that's additional saved power that will help keep the base going, especially once there's a dome drawing power. Cold wave is arriving in 1 sol. All right, so this rocket I can go ahead and launch on that other mission. Hang on. See, I keep hitting P because that's supposed to be the hotkey, but they haven't updated it from the old hotkey, as I mentioned. So let's see. Project Savannah, not quite yet. However, where's the other one? Project Oracle requires 7 drones. New technologies. Let's go ahead and send this expedition using Dragon number 1. I don't like the fact that I'm having to send drones to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. A cold wave is imminent. This is good information in case you're not familiar with this. While most of our machinery is designed and able to function in such low temperatures, if a building outside stops working for more than a sol, it will freeze and may not be repaired until after a cold wave has lifted. So you have to keep everything running. That's why I'm building additional power reservoirs. Cold waves put an extra strain on the electrical grid, and buildings will consume more electricity. One way to negate the effects of a cold wave is to place subsurface heaters near vulnerable buildings. So again, you want to keep the water liquefied, and you want to keep the power storage running to where it doesn't get hurt, because that can kind of help sustain everything else. And by the way, I knew that, but I appreciate the tip as well from a few folks in the comment section that made sure that I remembered, because it has been a second since I played, as I mentioned. So, okay, the following buildings will freeze during cold wave: water tanks and outside buildings that are not operational for more than a sol. Yeah. So we've got those building. I think I'm going to go ahead and stop this episode here. In the next one, this dome is going to get built. I'm a little bit disappointed it's not already done, but hang on, let's take a look here. Yeah, this selection issue is really bugging me because I can't pick things that I need to pick. Let's see. Oh, interesting. So since I turned off desired amount, they've actually stopped bringing things. That's not functioning the way I remember it functioning. I'm glad I noticed that. Well, that's really quite frustrating. We'll tell you what then. Let's go ahead and scale it up to 5. And we need to turn those resources back off that I don't need right now. That's really quite frustrating. I know I'm not making that up. Did that change? I feel like it changed. But okay, let's do machine parts off. Well, machine parts I'll leave on. What did I turn off in this one? Already forgotten. I'm flabbergasted. Polymers. No, we need polymers. And machine parts, ideally, we need as well. Just not yet. So this is going to require a little bit of micro. I was thinking that it wouldn't, unfortunately, but that's life. So that's one of the reasons the dome isn't finished yet, is that they haven't actually been transporting resources in the way that I described. My bad. But yeah, I'll stop this one here, and in the next one, we're going to get that dome finished. We're going to get that research project finished that this rocket just took off for, and we're also going to deal with our very first cold wave, so cross your fingers that that doesn't punish us too badly. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. New episodes are coming out every day at 1 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.